So I wanted to do a quick video here of redoing the upholstery on my 1988 Supra TS6M. So you can see I've already started disassembling. This is the wraparound passenger seat. You can see there's a lot of rot in there. I like to just basically label everything with blue tape. That's the starboard side of the seat, foam. That's port side. There's the bottom part under there. You can see in the back corner that's all broken up. And then here's all the rest of the seat foam. I try to keep it pretty much separated. That's the that's all the stuff from the driver's seat, bucket seat, which is in pretty rough shape. But we're going to be doing a full rebuild of all the seats. I ordered my vinyl samples online. I'm going to go with the teal and up. It's like a pearl carbon fiber pattern almost. I think it looks pretty nice. So for wood for the project, I got this MDO. Picked this up at a local lumber place that has a little bit better quality lumber than just a Home Depot. And I mean, you can see it's perfectly straight. There's no gaps along the edge. I got a piece of 1/2 inch and a piece of 3/4 because there's a little bit of both on these seat bases that I'm going to rebuild. Supposedly this stuff is waterproof. I'm still going to paint it after I'm done assembling the seats. It was a little bit cheaper than the marine grade plywood. I'm not sure if that's a good choice or not, but we'll give it a go since the boat's already 30-something years old. I don't think it's really going to last long enough to put in all the effort into doing it out of the PVC base or the starboard stuff they sell. Okay, so I've gotten all of the boards cut out. You can see there's the back, port, the seat, and the starboard side of the driver's seat. Now I just gotta glue them together. Here are the reproduction seats I made for my Supra. There's the captain's chair, the rear bench seat, and the passenger seat. All three of them took me about 2 full days worth of work, measuring, cutting. It was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, so if you want to try this yourselves, just plan on spending, I'd say, more time than you'd think. So here's the Supra. He's okay. You can see it's a little rusty from the water. Decals are all peeling off. I've already started on the interior. Seats are rebuilt all the wood, working on the foam right now, and the cushions. Next is the carpet. Got to replace these foam pads here. You can see I already got this back panel done. So that's all new. I think I'm going to take off the decals down low because they sit under the water level anyway, and they just look all torn up. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. This is the diamond stitching I did for each seat cushion. Made that ahead of time, and so you can cut out the profiles afterwards. It's a lot easier than trying to trace the pattern onto a cutout piece. It's much easier to work with a square piece. I sewed the piping onto this other piece. I'm learning as I go, and what I found is you want to stitch as close to that piping as you possibly can, otherwise it looks like crap and it'll be a big edge. When you flip this over and sew it to your main part of the seat there, I like to just follow that line, and that way it'll stay nice and straight. You can see here's the next one. I'd already sewed the two pieces together nice and tight there. I just use a little Crayola washable markers my kid had laying around, but they wipe off real easy. Then I did my sewing line around the outside. I use just something round that'll make that match the profile of the original piece. You can see how it's basically the same edge, and that way it can be perfectly even from cushion to cushion. You just got to find the right size item. The bucket is actually perfect for the other side, which has a much larger slope to it. Then you can see the final product right here, which is the completed seat cushion. This is the center seat cushion. These ones have this is the left and that's the right, and they have a different edge on them, but that's basically how it turned out. I think it turned out pretty good for the basically first boat seats I've ever done. A little bit of wrinkling there, but I think I can get that out with the steamer. One little thing I had to learn too is how to connect the piping. You have to basically take the plastic out of the middle, rip it open, and then fold it back over and re-stitch it. But it's not a very fast process either. I've taken probably 20 hours of work already just to get all my pieces cut out for all my seats and do all the diamond stitching and rebuilding all the wood within the seats. There's the complete captain's chair. This was a tough part right here. This is all, I had to make that myself to hide. It essentially just hides the staples. See if you can see one. There's a staple. Basically just a piece of fabric that I had to sew to hide all the staples. Go around it. See, here's all the seat cushion wood. I had to cut out all new ones because my old ones were all rotted away. I ended up having to order more fabric, so I have to wait on a few of the larger pieces until my new fabric comes in. This is called scrim foam. It's what you use to make the diamond stitching stand out. It's also, the original seats had this super thin foam padding that's just all kind of nasty and worn out, so I just decided to replace it with the foam. Another little piece of advice is on a couple of the pieces I forgot to cut out basically this part right here. And on these smaller cushions it's fine, but on the really big cushions that piece itself is actually like 7 or 8 feet long. So if you only have a few yards of material, you want to make sure you cut that first. Otherwise, you're not going to have a long enough piece to go around the outside of the cushion in one shot. Just so you know, I'm using my wife's sewing machine, which is a purple and baby blue brother sewing machine. So you don't need some crazy, industrial sewing machine to do this type of work. I mean, this is essentially the first time I've really done a big sewing project. I did a couple of really basic bench seats before, but this is the only diamond stitching I've ever done, and I think it turned out pretty good. Cushion together. So what I've done is I've lined up the cover with the wood underneath, and you follow the line there, which has the center divider on it, where I drew this brown line. So I know that's where we want to staple our center foam divider. So I'll go ahead and staple that along that edge, and then after we've got that done, we're going to stuff the pads in there, and then use my pneumatic stapler to staple the trim all along there, and that seat pad will be done. Also wanted to show you guys this tool I made. It's basically just a pair of ice grips, a wide grip style, and I wrapped a bunch of scrap vinyl around it. That way when I'm able to grab the seams, I can do so, and it doesn't damage it at all. Alrighty, you can see there's the Z cushion. Okay, this is about 6 hours worth of wet sanding and removing of stickers. Oh, that's my bottle. She's looking better. Got all the staining off with some iron out. Pretty good. You can still, probably can't see it with this camera, but you can still see the lines a little bit where the stickers were. I'm hoping that that'll come out once I get to buffing it, but it looks 1,000 times better than it did. Interior, still got a ways to go. So it went from a little project of reupholstering the seats, it's turned into rebuilding the seats and replacing the floor now. It's funny because you can see, it's kind of tough to see, but right there was where the floor was rotted out. and right there, and right there, and right here, and right here. And it's kind of easier to see on the other side, but it's wherever they filled. It's almost like a perfect circle hole. And if you look, that's exactly where they fill the whole foam in. And there's a spot there, and right there, and right there. So after they put the deck in, they must have drilled holes to fill the foam in, and that's where they're all rotten through. Been trying to polish up the hull. You got it done pretty good. You can kind of see your reflection, but it's not to the point where I really want it. Took the windshield off so that I could polish up there. Took all the rubber pads off the front, cleaned it off with acetone. Here's the new rubber pads. I'm getting ready. These are for the swim platform. This is the dash mat. Well, it's all worn out and kind of ugly, so if I'm doing all this work, might as well go all the way. So we just finished putting on the second coat of this Sea Quartz UK. So I guess this is the 3rd edition, 3.0 or something. Yep, there we go. It's supposed to last up to 2 years. Came out pretty good. This is after the whole hull was wet sanded and compounded. Interior's still getting some work done, so that looks like trash, but it's got a pretty good reflection. There's the compound I used, but I would say she looks pretty good for a boat that's over 30 years old. So here's after I ceramic coated it and let it dry for a week. Definitely beads water pretty good. Right, here's the official walk around video. After about, let's say, 3 months of work, she is wet sanded, polished, repainted window frame, new front rubber, new bow light, and all new interior. There's the captain's chair, redid the dash, passenger seat, side bolsters, motor cover, rear seats, and ski locker. Along with new carpet, new floors underneath. She is ready to go.